This is One Robert Thomas Adventures! Duck and the Flying Scotsman were at the repair yard because Duck was chuffing along with some cars. George the steamroller was right next to Duck's tracks. He hit a bump in the road and ran straight into Duck's path on purpose. Duck was heading straight for George. He didn't see him and he crashed right into him. Boko then arrived with the breakdown crane. The crane started to swerve as it picked up Duck and put it right onto the flatbed. Then Boko pulled Duck right down to the repair yard. And the Flying Scotsman was down at the repair yard because one of his steam valves has broken. The Flying Scotsman was fixed and he chuffed away. And Duck was fixed too, so then he chuffed away. After Duck was repaired, he went down to the quarry to pick up some trucks. Duck was waiting for the signal to change, so that way he could go in to the other line to pick up his trucks. The signal had changed, the points switched, and Duck chuffed ahead to collect his cars. He blew his whistle, chuffed backwards. The signal changed again. Then Duck chuffed away with his cars, straight into the tunnel. Stupid George, Duck thought as he chuffed out of the tunnel. When Duck just realized something. It was the busiest day Brendam Docks has ever seen. The Flying Scotsman was pulling the express. Thomas was pulling Annie and Clarabelle. Toby was pulling some soda fuel. Harvey was carrying away Iron Bert. A fire truck was filling up his hose with water from the ocean. Bulstrode the barge was carrying an oil drum. A workman was shouting orders to Cranky. Little Lord, almost there. Almost there. Hey there. Almost there. You got it. I say you got it. Now bring her up. Now, so I lower it. I've done this 1,000 times without you. I think I can do this by myself. No, you need me. Okay, then fine, I guess I do. Okay, now good. Now start lowering it carefully into the cargo cart. Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. There we go. Now you lowered it. Cricky then lifted his hook high up into the air. James was shunting some cars. James blew his whistle and chuffed away. Daisy was pulling in a tanker. Butch was working on something with the workmen. Lady was shunting a gold car, and Bertie was driving. Wow, said Duck. I've never seen the docks this busy before. I'm Yarty, said Salty. This has been the busiest day on the docks that we've ever seen. Well then, I've got to go, Salty, said Duck. Then Duck left. Okay, I stopped you from watching your film to show you the set of the docks here. This is my most impressive set that I've ever built here with the most amount of detail next to the quarry. And I just wanted to show you guys the whole entire set here. Flying Scotsman, pulling the express here. Over the ocean, where Bulstrode the barge is pulling a oil drum. Harvey over here, he's going to break down Crane and Iron Bert. I have no idea what trouble he's got himself into. Lay over here shunting in a gold car. Bertie here's trying to drive without bumping into anything. The crane here is hard at work. 2 cars here just in the siding. James here. This here's the light and sounds James. Built-in sounds, chuffing action. Here, Daisy over here, pulling in a thing. I didn't have a milk tanker, surprisingly enough. Yeah. And this here is Cranky. This is actually HO scale Cranky, my one railway Cranky, motorized one. He broke years ago. This is actually the old magnet from it. I just found the old string, taped it on together from here. String just went around to a curve here, taped it in there as hard as I could, and just put a hook around it. So you can detach it if you want to, or just keep it on. Really? Let's leave it here. Now, got trees over there. Dom's over there pulling Annie and Clarabelle. Otherwise I was going to bump into Percy, who just got loaded up by Cranky, as you saw in the previous shot. This. Or come in over here, shining oars like Cranky. I used to say, "Load her up, Charlie," and then I would have Cranky blow it up. He said, "My name is Cranky, not Charlie." Whatever. Elizabeth's over here. Hurry up with my thing. I'll hurry up when I can, Elizabeth. Yeah, so that's just my detailing of it. The Brandon Dock. Should I keep the set like this, or should I not? Post a comment down below if you think I should or should not. Okay, time to get back to your film. The next day, Duck was down at Tidman's shed talking to the other engines. All the engines were silent until they saw the Flying Scotsman show up. The Flying Scotsman got uncoupled from his tenders so that way he could spin around on a turntable without his tenders getting in the way. The Flying Scotsman started to spin around on a turntable. He turned to Gordon. Gordon, what are you doing here with the rest of these slackies? These engines are really old, but you are the newest state-of-the-art equipment. At least in steam engine-wise, next to me, said the Flying Scotsman proudly. Why are you here when you could be pulling the express with me? All you other engines, besides Gordon and I, are the top state-of-the-art. You engines are just old pieces of scrap, said the Flying Scotsman. He backed up onto his tenders and he chuffed forward again. Then Duck had lost patience. We may be old, said Duck, but we're really useful. Now get out of here! Whoa, no, what are you doing? On the flight saucer, you can't do it! What are you doing? Stop! Duck had knocked the Flying Scotsman right off the rails. That'll teach you that we're not old, said Duck as he chuffed away. I hope that'll teach him a lesson or two, said Duck as he chuffed into the shed. At least he's not as bad as George. I wonder how George is doing. I wonder that too, said Thomas and Gordon. Gordon then got onto the turntable to speak to Duck. What did you do to my brother? Said Gordon. I'll get you back for this. Thomas's face was in horror. When Gordon tried to push Duck off the rails, Duck just got pushed off to the side when Gordon went deep down into the end of the roundhouse. Get me out! Get me out! Again! Screamed Gordon. First it was a ditch, then the second time it was another ditch, then the third time it was at the back of a roundhouse. This is ridiculous! Screamed Gordon at the top of his lungs. Ah, Gordon! Said Butch. You got stuck at the end of a roundhouse. Now, if you don't mind, I gotta go find my brothers, get some popcorn, and watch, said Butch as he jogged away to find his brothers and some popcorn. Okay, now, said Butch to Duck, since you never ever get stuck in ditches or at the end of roundhouses, how about I just pick you up? So Butch got attached up to the end of Duck, and then he pulled Duck away down the line. Later, at the docks, George the steamroller was steamrolling next to the side of the lake, and all of a sudden, he slipped and fell in. "Oh my!" said Cranky as he saw George the steamroller down below into the water. Cranky started to lower his hook to George. Finally, Cranky got a hold of George. Cranky pulled with all of his might. Yeah. Slowly but surely, Cranky was being pulled up to safety. Oh, chuckled Duck as he saw George being lifted up from the water by Cranky. "Hey, George, how was your swim?" asked Duck, laughing. "Let me just say this," said George. "I hate rails, but cranes are kind of growing on me." "Hang on," said Duck. "I'm going to go get a flatbed." Then Duck chuffed away to get George a flatbed. Duck was pushing in a flatbed right underneath George. Cranky lowered George right on top of the flatbed. Then George had been slowly put onto the flatbed. Duck then pushed George all the way down to the works to be mended. After George was repaired, he and Duck became good friends. And even though that George still hates rails, there's one thing's for sure. He likes anything that has to do with water, cranes or ducks. Ba-na-ba-na-ba-na-ba. Ba-na-ba. This is a Bass Wooden Railway Productions.